Want to kind of visit with you guys a little bit about guys that to me have kind of jumped out over the course of this spring on a lot of different perspectives. But I think Tommy Stevens has really had a good spring. I'm very, very pleased with him and the process that he has made really kind of every year since he's been here. But he's playing at a really high level. We got two quarterbacks right now that we feel really confident in, and he's handled everything extremely well. He's got the whole team's respect, and I'm just very pleased with us. The next step for us, we have to figure out a number 3, which I'm not sure at this point that we know who that is. So that's gonna be important moving forward. Christian Campbell's another guy that we're very, very pleased with. He had a great off season. It's the first time since he's been here that he really had a complete off season. Winter workouts. He always seemed to miss winter workouts. Went through all winter workouts this year. Did a great job in the weight room. Did a great job out here. As you guys know, he's played a lot of football for us. We have viewed him as a starter really since he's been here. Those 3 guys. So we're excited about what he's going to do, and he's had a great all season so far. Holland's another guy. I didn't think he scrimmaged really well on Friday, but besides that, he's improved dramatically. He's about 255 pounds. He's a guy that has the ability to block you. He's made really good plays in the passing game, which is something that's come natural to him since he's been here. But he's a guy that I really think is factored in now. We feel like we're in a really good situation there as a legitimate backup to Mike. Koa Farmer is a guy, as you guys know, has bounced around from safety to linebacker, back to safety, back to linebacker again. And he's got everybody really excited. He's finally kind of found a home and comfortable. I've had a lot of conversations and arguments with Koa about this is where I felt like since he got here was the right place for him, but we weren't going to force him there. He has been fighting genetics for a long time. He's finally embraced linebacker, and he's about 280 pounds right now playing linebacker. Honestly, I think he's 239 right now. By not trying to be a safety anymore. It's just naturally happened. And then Josh McPherson has done a really good job for us. He's a guy that's worked hard. We're excited about him as a possible punt returner, what he can do as a running back as well. So I just wanted to kind of go over those guys with you. To be honest, I would say, the 14 practices, I would say 13 practices, because Friday will be more of a dress rehearsal for the blue-white game. That's really where the most value for us comes. There's going to be some young guys that go into that stadium, and there's going to be some experience that's going to help them. But to be honest with you, it's more about what they did over the 13 practices and the film that we've been able to watch. I'll have all the coaches grade this just like a game. They're going to be going on the road recruiting, but I'd like for them to kind of get that done so we kind of have it. We're also going to set up meetings with these guys with their position coach to give them feedback about what they did this spring and then what they need to focus on between now and camp. But the blue-white game, to be honest with you, it's about going in and kind of one last hurrah, and it's for the fans and it's for everything else. I would say more value is in the practices.
We haven't talked to you since the NCAA reform passed last week. What do you guys plan to do with that 10th assistant coach?
Well, to be honest with you, the way I understand it, a lot of it is passed, but it still needs that final stage. Obviously, it looks like it's going to happen. I think I mentioned to you guys before is that we would have, in a perfect world, I'd like it to be a guy that has an emphasis on special teams. Right now I feel really good about Coach Huff. He's done an awesome job for us. We made a huge jump in that area this year. But long term, I think you'd love to be in a situation where you had a guy and that was his deal, was special teams and special teams alone. Right now, Huff brings so much value on special teams and running back. I wouldn't change that. And then what we'd like to do is that guy also to be able to take some responsibilities on the defensive side of the ball, so you kind of even it out. So you'd have 5 and 5 instead of 5 and 4. That's in a perfect world. That's what we'd like to do. And now what you're trying to do is try to find the best person that can fit those roles. As you know, with me, we like to have a plan. So it's not like we don't already have a plan. The coaches make fun of me because we'll go to the convention and I'll be having lunch with 10 offensive line coaches, and Coach Limegrover would look at me like, "What's up?" Well, Coach Limegrover's perfectly fine, but I'm always going to have a plan. I'm always going to be developing relationships and knowing who those guys are down the road. And it's the same thing for this 10th position. We've known about it for a while, so we have a plan. I'm not going to get into the specifics of what that plan is, but but we're always going to have a plan to be prepared and make the best choice for Penn State.
Can you share your thoughts on the possible early signing period, as well as the ability for kids to make official visits much earlier than they are now?
Yeah, I'm kind of old school, and I worry about unforeseen consequences. I get it. I know why we're doing it, and there's some problems with what we have now, but we know the problems. So I just worry. There's other challenges. You talk about the whole thing that's going on with the two-a-days. That takes a week out of vacation time for the staff. Now the season's a week longer for the players. There's some issues with that. Early signing period, I do think makes sense. I wasn't a big fan of the early visits, but I also understand why they're doing that as well. Again, when do the coaches go on vacation? That's another factor that comes into it. So there's just concerns. There's just concerns. You also like to be able to show these kids your campus when the students are here. That's going to be a little bit factors over summer break. I do think in this part of the country it helps us because we're able to show off our campuses when the weather's beautiful. So there's pluses and there's minuses to it. There really is, but there's part of me that I like the world I've been living in for 23 years, and I know what they anticipate and what they expect.
Hey James, so far this spring, what position battles have you received most clarity on?
I don't know if we had that many positions that were that uncertain coming in that we needed to kind of clear some things up. I think, maybe depth at some positions. I think DN probably is the position that we, obviously felt like, we needed to kind of figure out some things there, and I don't think we're going to, completely figure those things out until camp. I think that was a concern. On the offense, we had pretty much everyone back, but it was also how we were going to replace the production of Chris Godwin. And I don't know if you necessarily can do that, but when you got so many guys that have played a lot of football for you, it helps. Probably not one guy, but multiple guys are going to be able to do it. And then I think the other thing for me, and I know for Joe, was figuring out who the third quarterback is. And I don't know if we feel that yet. And that's no disrespect to the guys that we got. I think Zembeck and Schuster and Fessler have done a nice job for us, but I still think those guys have got to take another step to feel like we got three quarterbacks that we can win with in the Big Ten. That still needs to happen. There's a lot of work that needs to happen between now and then. And then the one that you guys don't want to talk about is long snapper and holder. We've talked about that, I think, last week. We have a lot of confidence in Tyler, but that part of it is very important as well. And I think Vasey's done a really, really good job for us this spring.
James, you talked earlier this spring about Cam Brown's physical stature. Can you kind of maybe speak on his off-the-field maturity and that kind of aspect of it?
Yeah, I think he had one of the better off seasons. And when I say off season, I'm really talking about between now and the beginning of spring ball. Winter workouts, he was a machine. Weight room, he was a machine. He came out and had a good spring. I thought he was going to take a bigger step, but I do think he's got an opportunity now, to go back and watch the film, take some of the comments from the coaches, and be able to make a big jump and put it all together now. He gained experience on the field last year before he was probably ready, and then he's able to kind of have a great off season for the first time, and then come out here this spring and still gain some experience, and then kind of put it all together in fall camp, which is really the next step for him.
How much, if at all, has the running back depth changed behind Saquon this spring?
Not a whole lot. I mean, those guys have been here and played a lot of football for us. I think Mark Allen had a really good spring for us. I think DeAndre's got some things that we've identified that we need to work on. He's been very, very productive for us, as we all know, but there's some areas that we think he can improve on that will take his game to the next level. But I think the running back position is a position we felt like we had good depth. And we just got to keep developing those guys, So I'm pleased with that position. And then you got another guy, and all these positions, we got other guys coming in that are also going to be able to push the needle a little bit as well.
James, where's Garrett Taylor at right now? Because we came in as a highly touted recruit, and we haven't seen much of him besides special teams so far.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think he's right on schedule. I think You know, he was a highly touted guy, but what's happening now is we're getting a bunch of highly touted guys. So, you know, between the development that we have in the program and between the competition, you know, I think he's in the right position right now. We've kind of been looking at corner as a spot for him to see if he could be a big corner for us, and I think he could have done it, but he's going to have the ability to impact our program and make an impact on the field quicker at safety, and I think it fits him more long term. So he's had a really nice spring for us. The coaching staff feels good about him going into fall camp, that he's going to have a chance to compete. You know, where that is and how much significant time he gets, that's still to be determined between now and camp. But I do think on special teams and in some role at safety, he's in the right spot now to really make a move.
Coach, what are your expectations this Saturday for the Blue and White game in terms of special teams? You talked a lot about holding and place kicking, what we just saw out there.
Yeah, you know, the special teams won't be exactly the way I want it. We'll just go a blue emphasis. So what I'm saying is if the blue offense is out there and they go 3 and out and got a punt, we'll put the blue punt team on the field. I think this is how we did it last year, and they'll punt to only a punt return. We won't put a white punt return team out there. We'll put just a white punt returner out there from the white team and do it that way. So special teams will be on air. During the scrimmage.
Are you still going 1s, 2s?
Yeah, you know, we've had a few guys, you know, with some ankles or some hamstrings and things like that, that it's not as clean as I wanted it to be, but it's still probably more 1s and 2s than it's been in the past. I think we'll announce those teams, I think, on Friday is what Chris has planned.